Hi, Claudia. How are you today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for speaking with me.
Yeah, of course.
Well, let's talk about your movie. I kind of want to go all the way back to the beginning, to the inspiration for the book, and how did this all come to be?
So I started posting stories on Wattpad. Yeah, and it started getting a lot of traction on the site. I was posting weekly, all these chapters, and yeah, I guess yeah, it got quite a bit of a fan base. And years later, Constantine, came forward with, wanting to do a movie based on the second book, which was Perfect Addiction.
Mhm.
And I guess the rest was history.
Were you a little nervous about it being on the second book and not the first book?
It didn't phase me as much because like I knew the second book was the most popular one of the series as well. And a lot of the books in the series are you can read it as standalones, so it didn't really matter to me. Yeah.
So, where did the idea for this story come from?
um I mean, when I was 16 at the time, I guess I was experiencing like a lot of angst in my
Mhm.
life. And I was reading a lot of sports romances at the same time, and I always thought like eh, I always wanted to see like the female side of like being like in that sport rather than
Mhm.
male, uh kind of being like the story being like centered around the male fighter or whatever. So I wanted to just write something that I like to read, that I wanted to read. So
I love that it's from her point of view, because as you said, it's not often done. And it's a story that I think so many people can embrace, but also lose themselves in.
yeah.
So how involved were you with the casting process, with everything back in the background, bringing this movie to life?
I wasn't that involved. They did send me a few scripts to review here and there. I gave some of my feedback, but no, I was not involved in like the casting or anything like that. But they did bring me to set. So, I mean, I did get to go on set for a few days to, meet everybody. That was really fun. Yeah.
What was that like? Getting to see your characters in real life.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a surreal experience. It doesn't feel, I mean, it kind of feels like, um I don't know how to say it, but like it's a little different, I would say. Like I don't compare it to the book as much. Like it's its own thing in at the end of the day. And like even though these actresses, these actors and actresses have like, my characters' names, like they're saying these lines. Um like it's its own thing still, and I don't like actively compare it, but like obviously it's kind of cute when I hear like, the lines that are being spoken to the book, and I'm like, oh my god, like that's kind of cool. But yeah, like I still see it as kind of two separate things.
For you, you have obviously said a very avid fan base, especially for this book. Um, when they go in to see this movie, how do you prepare them? What would you do to prepare them? Be like, because as you said, you've been able to separate the two, that you
Yeah.
have your story, and then there's the movie. How do you what kind of advice, let me put it that way, would you give fans going in to watch the movie?
Yeah, that's really hard. I don't know, like I feel like every reader, every fan has like different expectations out of the movie. Like there definitely is, that few people that are like, if it's not exactly like the book or whatever, then like they'll riot, or but I know that there are a good, amount of people that are going in to kind of see it, after years of not reading it too, because I posted it like years ago, and people are I get messages like saying like they're revisiting the book now as they're like adults, young adults.
Mhm.
And I feel like a lot of them have very level expectations. Like they're not like looking at it like, it should be exactly like the book, but they're obviously wanting the film to capture the same nostalgia, like, as like how they pictured in their heads all those years ago. And I do think it for the most part accurately does that. So
Mhm.
I wouldn't say like, oh no, like be prepared for something. Like I just let them enjoy, and allow them to take what they can take from the movie.
Was there a particular scene that you were most excited to see come to life, or you just kind of, still like, I'm keeping it separate, what I wrote in my story to what was shown on screen?
Yeah, I mean, there were definitely some scenes that I was quite excited to see. Like I was excited for the Kaden and Sienna paint apartment scene, like where they're like doing a little paint fight. That's a scene that a lot of readers definitely hold dear in their hearts as well. So it's nice to kind of see them, see it come to life. And of course, like the fighting sequences, I feel like writing them is a whole different experience than like seeing it come to life, because it's such a technical sport. You can only do so much describing it on the pages versus like it actually, you seeing like the techniques being employed and stuff like that. It was really fun to see, and them trying to make sure that, they portrayed the sport as accurately as possible.
Mhm.
Yeah. Me, yeah.
So how do you write something like that without getting to, as you said, too technical to the point where you lose the reader?
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult balance, I think. When I was writing the fighting scenes, I definitely had, someone to fact check certain things, and they would, give me their feedback on like, oh, this might not be the right term for, this certain move or whatever, and they would give me like a different word for it, and then it's kind of up to me to kind of see whether, that's too technical to put into like,
Mhm.
yeah, a paragraph, or like, yeah, like, or maybe like like using a different word that could be more easy on the eyes, like as the reader reads it. It's a difficult balance, and I'm, as fiction is, like, there's always a level of, there's always a suspension of disbelief that you kind of need to, use going into it. So yeah, but I mean, at least I hope that I did it well enough that people, still learn something from it, and are interested in the sport.
Now, are there any talks to do more movies based on your works?
I think there were like a bit of whisperings like here and there. I think they're definitely interested in doing something, if the movie is successful enough. And I think it could be anything. I think it could explore Sienna and Caden's relationship like in a sequel, or it could be a spin-off with another character. I feel like the movie kind of made it open enough that these possibilities could happen, and yeah, I'm down for anything, really.
What about for you? Has all of this kind of revitalized you to maybe revisit more of
Oh
the
yeah,
story?
I mean, I as for me, I feel like I don't really want to force it. I mean,
Mhm.
I'm still like right now in the midst of publishing the series, traditionally. So I'm still like knee deep in the trenches in that sense, editing and stuff. So yeah, but the movie definitely kind of made me realize like, there's still, all these people that are still passionate about the series that, might want to read more. But honestly, I'm just kind of taking it easy. I'm not trying to force a story out of, these characters. If it happens, it happens. If I have an idea for it, I would go for it. But if that nothing sparks in my head, like I'm ready to let it go.
Do you
Yeah.
ever think, 10 years ago that this would be it, that you would be here doing this?
Oh no, absolutely not. I didn't dare to dream big enough for sure. But yeah, like it's crazy that it's happening. I'm from a small town in Malaysia. Like this kind of things don't usually happen to people like me. So I'm so, so grateful for this opportunity. And it's still until now like such a pinch me moment that, this happened. Yeah, it's crazy.
But I think it also shows that, as you said, you're small town, you weren't thinking that this would happen, but it did. And it kind of
Yeah.
shows that, look, put your words out there, go for,
Yeah.
try something new. You never know what's going to happen.
Yeah. I agree 100%.
So for my final question for you today is, what are you hoping fans get from the movie?
I'm hoping that they get this like the same message that I put in my book like all those years ago, um don't hold on to anger. You are worth so much more than your ex-boyfriends, your toxic ex-boyfriends. And yeah, keep that fighting spirit alive. Yeah.
Well, perfect. Thank you so much for speaking with me today.
Yeah, of course. No worries.